Welcome back to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so you can easily choose the best watch for yourself in the comfort of your own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online, and if you'd like to know the price, simply click on the links in the description below. We greatly appreciate if you purchase your next watch from us at JazzTime.com. Today we'll be going over Audemars Piguet's smallest mechanical self-winding Royal Oak, the 34mm. Now there's actually one of four models sitting right in front of us. We'll get to see which one that is. All right, so well, actually I'll just tell you which one it is. It is the blue-gray Grande Tapisserie dial, entirely in stainless steel with a diamond set bezel. All right, here we go. Here's the watch right here. All right, but first we can also see that this is indeed a very new Audemars Piguet watch, as it does have the papers right underneath with the fold open, all right, and the warranty card tucked right in very neatly. All right, now we can place this back underneath here because this is not a review of the warranty card, this is a review of the watch itself. All right, so here's the watch. Actually, let me take it out of the box here. You can also see that it is that very smooth, high polish, like wood grain look with the Audemars Piguet logo there. All right. Okay, now taking it directly out, we can keep the pillow inside. All right. Now keep in mind, this is a 34mm diameter watch from finger to thumb. It is very small. Okay, and it's actually the smallest mechanical self-winding watch offered by Audemars Piguet. All right, so here we go. As is typical of all unboxings, we remove all the protective materials, the front, the back, as well as the stickers here. Okay. To reveal that nice, beautiful satin finish for the very first time. All right. Absolutely stunning. Okay. All right, now that we have that mostly open, we can also deploy the clasp there. Peel this off. As well as on the other side. Again, revealing that nice brush finishing right there on the bracelet. Okay. All right, so I'll be going over the case, the dial, the bezel, the movement, as well as the bracelet, and I'll be giving you my thoughts on them throughout the video. Now, once again, this is one of the first 34mm self-winding Royal Oak models from Audemars Piguet. It has a blue-gray Grande Tapisserie dial with a stainless steel entirely with the diamond set bezel. All right, so first, the case is a size of 34mm, all right, from finger to thumb, as you can see right there. It has a thickness of only 8.8mm, very, very thin. This works as a dress watch in any occasion. Very, very thin. One of the smallest that we've seen to date here on this channel. It's water resistant to only 50 meters, so only surface swimmable, really. If you really must take it in water, you can certainly wash your hands with this, no problem. And certainly giving it, the usual brushings on the back with a toothbrush, weekly or nightly should you prefer. Right, very good to keep up your watch's hygiene. All right, so taking a look at the other possible models here, we have the blue-gray dial, entirely in steel with a diamond set bezel. There's one version of this that has, all the other three versions of this watch have a silver dial. The closest one to this would be entirely in pink gold, with a silver dial and the diamond set bezel. The second one would be an all steel version without the diamonds and with a silver dial. And the third would be sort of a rose gold bezel, no diamonds, with steel body, steel links with pink gold intermediary links going all the way down, or in other words, a two-tone, right? And this will be the final one, the only one offered on a blue dial, or in this case, a blue-gray Grande Tapisserie dial, all right? So taking a look at the bezel here, you can see it very clearly. It has a brush finishing just on that very, very thin sliver just before it meets the case there, all right, just above that weather sealing gasket, with the high polish above that, all with those even diamond settings with regular placements as well, all right, all hand set, all interspersed with those 8 hexagonal screws with their slots going around in a concentric ring around that bezel. So it has a very good rhythm to it all the way around. And, you know, honestly, you can see this from just about any angle in the room. It has a very, very bright radiance, all right, absolutely beautiful. Again, this case is entirely brush finished on the front with brush finishing along the sides as well, with very, very small high polishing portions on the vertices here to give sort of that glowing look as you go around the case. All right, there's no crown guards here to speak of because it is a small watch. You're probably going to end up injuring yourself rather than actually injuring the watch. Have some more on that crown later, all right? But since we're done looking at the case itself, we can now look at the dial, which sits behind a glare-proof sapphire crystal, scratch resistant as well. There's no lens above the date, but it's very easy to read, right? So this is a blue-gray Grande Tapisserie dial. It has almost a smoky look to it, all right? So very dark, very, very deep values there. Not a true blue as you would see on the boutique exclusive versions of the Royal Oak, but as I move it through this light box, as I rotate it and move it up and down, you can actually see it does have a sunray patterning thanks to all of the laser etchings in there, all right? It has 18 karat white gold applied index markers with luminescence applied to those. It also has the minute and second track painted directly onto the outer perimeter of the dial, all right? It gives it a very distinct look. All right, while we're here, we can also talk about the luminescence. As I turn off the lights here, you can actually see that it doesn't indeed glow in the dark. All right, if my camera will behave and let me focus a bit. All right, there we go. So we have a very high polish on the interior of the bezel, so it gives it that interesting sort of reflected look, makes the dial look a lot larger than it really is. All right. And also note that there is luminescence on the minute and hour hands as well. And my lens is complaining. There we go. All right. Let me manually override you. Okay, there we go. So there's some luminescence as well applied onto the minute and hour hands, onto the Royal Oak style hands as they're called. All right. And turning the lights back on, you can see them, the index markers, very clearly in just about any angle due to their nice beveling along the sides there. All right, now looking at the functions of this watch, you'll note that, well, actually there's no need to unscrew this crown. Now I wonder why. Now you may be wondering, well, okay, this is probably a take on their version of doing what Cartier does, where you don't need to unwind the crown. But Cartier's watches are actually water resistant down to 100 meters or even 300 meters, and they tend to not have that screwing, or they tend to, yeah, they do not have that screwing functionality to unwind the crown. You're simply just rotating it, and actually rotating it the clockwise direction winds the watch directly, all right? So all you need to do to change the date is to just get your fingernail underneath to pop it out to the second position, technically, and then you can rotate the crown about half a turn in order to advance the date by 1, all right? So if you find yourself needing to advance the date because you're at the end of a 30-day month, you can do so very easily, just a very quick turn, and you're there on the 1st of the next month. All right, pull the crown out to the next or final position. It hacks the seconds there. All right, and you can actually then move the minute hand as required and set the time just by pressing it all the way in. No need to screw it against the case. Now again, this case is only 50 meters of water resistance, right? So we're looking at what makes this work. It is the self-winding caliber 5800, right? A very new movement for this watch. The smaller watches from Audemars Piguet, the 33 millimeters, are actually quartz movements powered by a battery. The larger pieces, 37 millimeters in diameter, are all mechanical movements. So this is, again, the smallest offered by Audemars Piguet with that mechanical movement. Now, looking at the diameter of the movement, it is 23.3 millimeters in circumference, or in diameter rather, with 10.5 lines. It has a frequency of 4 hertz, 28,800 vibrations per hour, uncharacteristic of Audemars Piguet. Now, there's more to it than that, but I'll say here that that is actually quite unusual because Audemars Piguet movements are not made for keeping time. They're made to just look amazing because typically they run at a vibration rating of 21,600. This is 28,800. It has 28 joules. It has the power reserve of 50 hours, not 48 hours, not 36 hours, but 50 hours of power reserve, just over 2 days. 189 total parts with the ability to set the hours, minutes, and center seconds with the date as I had just shown you. Now, there's a lot of really weird things uncharacteristic about this watch, actually. Well, outside of its size, it's strange that the movement has such odd numbers that are not really characteristic of Audemars Piguet, and it also has this crown which does connect directly to the movement to adjust the winding effectively. So what is up with this? Well, it's actually due to the fact that it is not actually an in-house made caliber. It's actually a movement made by an external company known as Vaucher. They use their base VMF 3000, a movement known for its high-end production and totally within Audemars Piguet's standards, and its production has been overseen by Audemars Piguet. You can actually see that all of the internal components there are done with Audemars Piguet's own etchings and their own Genève waves carved into the movement there, as you can see. All right, so yeah, this was actually not an in-house made movement, and that's why I think the crown does not have that sort of unscrew and screw in feature. It's because they need to fit this movement in here, and in order to have all those functions work properly, you can't have that extra space to unwind the crown. You have to wind it from the default position. All right. Now, you could also say that it's entirely possible that people wearing this watch aren't very likely to be inclined to really care about mechanical stuff, or it could just be too much faff. The questions are sort of up in the air for us, but that is what I think. It's because it's due to the fact that it is a non-in-house made movement, so how everything functions is actually a little bit different, but it is to Audemars Piguet standards. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making this at all. And since this is the first foray into their 34 millimeter line with their smallest movement to date, it's very likely that they're sort of testing the waters here with this size with a mechanical movement. All right, and so before investing too much into shrinking down their existing mechanical movements, they're just sort of outsourcing their movement for these models specifically. That's what I think is going on. And if you think something else is going on, or if you have any insider information, any reason as to why this is all going on with these specifically, leave them down in the comments below. I'd like to really know about why exactly the crown behaves the way that it does, why they decided to go with a third-party movement. All right, so that being said, this bracelet also brushed steel, as you would typically find on any Royal Oak, with that high polish on the vertices there. all right, to give them sort of that glowing look. The intermediate links also high polish on the front, but with a, well, high polish on the insides with a brush finishing on the front, all right? And the separations in there allow the wrist to breathe very nicely, right? And it also has the double-sided deployment clasp, right? For symmetrical fit, makes it for a very good wearing experience for anyone with a thinner wrist or anyone who likes to have their watch fitted perfectly. And speaking of fitting, we can test the wearing of this watch. Now on my wrist, 7.25 to 7.5 inches. Now I actually very much like this watch. I get a very good framing between the case and the bracelet, a very good ratio there. I have a very clear view of the dial. It's very easy to read with those white gold index marks against a very dark blue background. It's a very tasteful blue. It's not super oversaturated. It's not too pronounced. It's a bit subdued, and I actually like that. It has a very good feel to it, all right? This will fit with just about any sort of dress or any suit, really, because it's not an oversaturated blue. It can go with any color, really, because if you put it next to another blue, this will actually look very close to gray. All right, so when it comes to the wearing experience, very light, incredibly light. It's so small with that form factor. Any suit cuff will slide perfectly over this. All right, and on my wrist, it fits perfectly, actually. I don't need to really move it anywhere. All right, I don't have to move it further up my arm. I don't need to wear it, you know, anywhere close right up against my hand there. It has a very good size just for me, 7.25 to 7.5 inches in circumference, all right? And when it comes to weight distribution, it feels perfectly centered in my hand, in my arm there. So I'm not feeling, I don't actually know. If I'm looking away, I don't know which side of my arm actually has the watch on it. That's because the counterbalance within all of this bracelet here is perfect against this case. All right, and when it comes to comfort, you can't get much better than this. These links with the spacing in between them makes the wrist breathe very well, so you probably don't even need to take this off to let your wrist breathe. It feels very nice, and if I hold it out at a distance here, you can actually see the light sort of coming through in between any two links. All right, so you can see that it breathes very well. All right, so enough of my thoughts. What do you think about this watch? And if you have any information as to why this crown is not an unscrew crown, why it's a 28,800 vibration per hour frequency, and perhaps why exactly they decided to go with a third party rather than invest into developing their own, you know, tiny movement back here, let me know down in the comments below. If you have any other information, I'd like to know too. And as always, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't already as well, as it really helps our channel out. Hit that bell notification next to the subscribe button to be notified when we go live with another video. And as always, if you'd like to purchase this watch or any other watch, visit us in our online store at jazztime.com. Links in the description below.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.